Hi friends, Cassie here. Today I have some ATCs to share with you. The Brutus Monroe inspiration team was challenged to make something other than a card, and for a card maker that can often be a challenge. So I chose to make some ATCs again because I had just recently gotten some black gesso, and so this is what we're going to be making today. I made 3 of them, all super fun. So why don't you grab your favorite beverage and let's go take a look at the products that we used to make these. I have some ATC laser cuts. I used those a couple weeks ago in a different video. We also have some black gesso, and that stamp set there is called Butterfly Sentiments 2.0. I don't actually use it, but it is there. We're going to be using some media paste, and we're also going to be using the Butterfly Heart Stencil. And then we have the amazing simple strips. This is the Crafty stamp set along with the die that we're going to be using as well. And I love that stamp set, such a fun stamp set. So we're going to pull out 3 of them because for whatever reason I just have to make them in odds. So we're going to start with our little ATCs. I'm going to pull out my stencil and some media paste along with a spatula to just kind of put that over the top. My thought process in this part was that I wanted to add a little bit of texture to these ATCs, and so I'm trying to make it fairly smooth, but I want there to be a decent amount of texture. So that's what media paste is great for. It keeps its form, and it's just fun stuff. And then I'm going to do that for the other 2 as well. Scrape off those sides, dig into my media paste, and then just continue the process until I have all 3 of them covered fairly well. And like I said, I don't want it to be super thin, don't want it to be crazy thick, but I don't want it to be super thin. And then when I'm done with that, all 3 of those, I'm going to go clean off my mess. And then we're going to pull out our heat gun because I'm kind of impatient, and you can dry this stuff. Now I have 2 settings on this heat tool. I'm going to use the lowest setting, and when I'm happy with how dry they are, they don't have to be completely dry for the next step, but they do need to be fairly dry. I'm going to pull out my black gesso. Now black gesso, just like white gesso, is used for prepping your surfaces. So you can prep canvases, you can prep, like in this case, chipboard, or whatever surface you might want to prep to have it be a black surface. And there's a reason I wanted mine to be black. I know it looks right now like I just ruined these pieces, but I promise you I didn't. And if you saw the end result, you'll know that it ends up working out just fine, and at no point have I thought, oh no, I've ruined these. I wanted the butterflies to be covered with the black, but the media paste gives them some texture, and I'll show you that here in a second. So I love having black gesso in my little arty arsenal simply because sometimes you just want a black surface. And so once I'm happy with how that is done, and I'm doing this over my glass mat just so that you're aware, I'm going to pull out my heat tool for this as well. Now, keep in mind you are heating those butterflies up again. Just be really careful, keep your heat tool moving so that you don't cause any bubbles or anything like that, but it'll dry fairly quickly. And then I'm going to show you just how much texture those have. So it's really cool. You could even go back over that with that media paste again before you put the black gesso on if you want those to be even thicker. Now I'm showing you just how easy it is to clean this stuff up off of a glass mat. You could use water, you could use squeaky clean, and if you use squeaky clean then it's going to smell amazing in your craft room, so I highly suggest that. But yeah, it cleans up super, super easy. Our next step would be to pull out some of the galaxy powders. This first color that I have there is Orbit Orange, and this stuff is just really cool. If you've never used them before, if you've never seen them before, I just think it's a really fun medium. If you like trying new mediums, this is definitely a super fun one because they are basically a very beautiful mica powder, but the difference is these babies are going to stay put once they're applied with that water. They're not going anywhere. Most mica powders, they need like a resin or a spray fixative in order to stay put, but these are going to stay put when they're done. So it takes some of that extra work out of the whole equation for you. And so all I'm going to do is just paint these over the butterflies. I'm clearly doing a semi-messy job with that. I thought about putting my stencil back over the top of this and kind of painting through that, but this will stick to the stencil as well, and I didn't honestly want to have to try to clean that off. I'm sure I could do it no problem. I just thought that this, since it's a mixed media project, would be a little bit fun anyway. And so here it is, all done. And so I'm just gonna, once again, pull out that heat tool and heat that until that's fairly dry. And then I'm gonna pull out another galaxy powder. In this case, I am using the blue one, which is our Blast Off Blue. And all I want to do now is do some splatter. So I'm going to put down my microfiber cloth just so that I don't get it all over any of that. This comes off the glass mat super easy, but you know, it can stay on other surfaces, and because I'm doing splatter, sometimes you don't see that for a while. So yeah, all I'm doing is just splattering that all over that background. I love how that blue is super intense on that black background and over the top of the orange. And because I'm using contrasting colors, it just really, really pops. So there it is. There it is, all up close and personal, and I'm super happy with that. So I actually made 2 more as you saw me get started, and I'll have the colors linked down below if that's something that you're interested in checking out, but I think those are so much fun. And once again, here is that Simple Strips Crafty stamp set. This was a collaboration with Tailored Expressions, and I have mine in a little holder. So this is the great thing about them. You can stamp them out and you'll have all these leftover pieces. If you're interested in seeing how that's done, I will have a link down below to a video that shows you how you stamp it and how you cut it out. So we'll have that linked down below. And now what I'm doing is something old school. I have grabbed some sewing twine and I just wrapped it around my fingers, and obviously I don't remember how I did it in the past, but this was something that was like something people did a lot of, where they just take string and pop it down on their card fronts or whatever the case may be and leave it kind of in a mess, and then you keep it adhered down by putting foam tape over the top of your sentiment or your piece or whatever it is that you had. And so in this case, I'm going to take some of the black Brutus Monroe foam tape, which is perfect for these projects. You won't see it coming out of the side. And I'm going to cut it down the center so that it is going to go perfectly over those simple strips. And then I'll do that for all 3, and then we'll peel off our release paper and we'll tack that down. The easiest way I have found sometimes, because my fingers can be fumbly, is to just use like the little craft pick to get that paper started, and I'll peel it off. And then I'll pop that down on top, and that'll keep the string fairly intact and where it's supposed to be. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at how these ATCs turned out. I would love to know what you think, either of the Galaxy powder or just the projects themselves. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.